15 minutes is our aim, but if we fail, you should not blame us. What are you laughing at?
No, keep going.
No, you can't laugh.
Okay. I promise I'll stop.
Well, you can actually, because then it'll be pretend it's a surprise to you.
No. All right, go.
You can laugh if you want.
Equity mind.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.
Welcome to another episode of Equity Mates, where 15 minutes is our aim. But if we fail, you should not blame us, because we've tried our best to help you learn to invest in 15 minutes or less. We break down the world of investing from beginning to dividends so that you can hopefully make some returns. My name is Bryce, and as always, I'm joined by my equity mate, Shakespearean Renner. How are you going, bro?
Oh, I don't know why you're calling me Shakespeare. That was all you.
Oh, mate. Hey, what did you think?
Oh, it was beautiful.
Bit of an opener there.
Oh, wow. That was great. Yeah, I'm speechless.
Yeah, me too. For those of you that have just joined the show, I've thrown in a little bit of a poem there. Usually,
he actually opens every episode with a different poem. So
no, let's not set the standards. That is definitely,
mate. If that was setting the standard, I don't think you need to be too worried.
Yeah, true. It's only up from here.
Yeah.
I usually say where we will help you learn to invest in 15 minutes or less. However, Ren, over the last many episodes, we haven't been able to really stick to the 15 minutes because we're having such a good time. So I threw in a bit of a caveat in the form of a poem saying that if we don't hit our mark of 15 minutes, we're not to blame because we're giving it our best shot. So how are you going?
Oh, I'm good. It's going to take me a moment to recover from that one. But yeah, coming off the high of our live shows and coming off the high of that poem, feeling pretty good. I think Equity Mates is going from strength to strength.
Absolutely. It has been a great fortnight. Thank you to everyone that came along and supported us at our shows in Sydney and Melbourne. We had a fantastic time. Hopefully we were able to meet expectations and give you guys something that we hadn't given you through the show, and I'm sure that it was certainly not the first and last time that we'll be doing these sorts of things. So some things in the pipeline. So yeah, Ren, let's get stuck into this app, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So we're back. We
didn't really go anywhere.
No, it feels like we did, but for our listeners, nothing's really changed. The episodes just come out at the same time.
Yeah. And our minds were with the live show, but now we're fully back invested in our home habitat. So
yeah. So this episode we need to cover off on one of your bold predictions from the start of the year. To be fair, a lot of mine haven't come off anyway, but I want to stick the boot in you for a little bit.
Cool.
And then we are gonna touch on our share market game. That we'll get to that, but I don't think I'm doing very well, and you seem to think you're not doing very well. So we're not a glowing example to our listeners, but
I'm actually a bit nervous about it. I'm sure there's listeners out there that are doing far better than us, but look, some lessons to be learnt. Let's put it that way.
Well, yes.
Let's get stuck in.
Let's do it. So, 15th of September.
Yes.
10 years,
yes.
2018, the day that will live in infamy.
Well, you know what, Ren? At the time of making this bet, and to put some context behind it, at the start of this year, I think the very first episode we did of 2018 was to throw down some rather large, bold predictions that we thought would come to fruition this year. Unfortunately, not many of them have, well, depending on which way you look at it. But
yeah, you said Trump would get impeached. That hasn't happened.
Well, we're not at the end of 2018 yet.
True. I said self-driving cars would be on the road. That probably isn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And then I came home strong with this one, that on the 15th of December, I named
September.
A month. Sorry, September. I named a month. I named a day.
And you named the year. Let's not wriggle out of it that way.
And the year, true. That we would see a correction of 20% or more in the US stock market. So I was predicting by this stage we would be well on our way to another large correction. We did have a 10% or so correction in February, but I thought by this time we would see a larger one. Now, at the time of making the bet, I didn't actually realize that that date was the anniversary, if not close to it, of the GFC in 2017.
Yeah, the day, 10 years to the day that Lehman Brothers collapsed.
So there you go. I didn't actually intend that.
But that's not even the worst part of it. In the finest form of subpar Equity Mates research, you didn't even realise that it was a Saturday.
Yes, I did.
Oh, did you?
Things would change over time.
Yeah, the market would trade on the weekend.
Would go to a 7-day trading.
That is a bold prediction. But to be honest, I would have given you the Friday or the Monday if it had come through.
Thank you. Ever since making that bet, Ren, the market has actually just gone from strength to strength, and we're hitting all-time highs. So the bet certainly didn't come off, and I owe you a case of beer, I think.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Was that or a beer?
Let's go with a case.
No, let's not go with the case. I'm pretty sure it was a beer, and the winner got a case. We'll need to listen back to the episode.
Yeah,
but look, it didn't come through, but it was actually a pretty good week and an interesting week because a lot of commentary obviously came out around the fact that it was at the anniversary, 10-year anniversary of the GFC. I don't know why I said 2017. It was 2008, but yeah, the 10-year anniversary and lots of coverage and commentary and opinions about what is to come.
Yeah.
And position we're in at the moment.
Kevin Rudd gave himself a nice pump up in the AFR.
Classic, not surprised.
Yeah, not at all.
So I guess I just want to frame this with the fact that my opinions haven't necessarily changed. Obviously, I got the date wrong, but I'm still quite bearish about what's to come, particularly after reading more of the commentary over the last few days. I know you're not as bearish as me, but I'd be interested to see if your views have changed on this particular sort of topic since the start of the year.
I think I'm not going to. I don't know how bearish I am, but I think. I definitely am not as bearish as you, but I think what this shows, in a very extreme example, is it's better to be generally right than specifically wrong. And in this instance, you tried to be extremely specific as you could be.
There was beers on the line.
Yeah. But so, even if you're generally right that the market is overvalued and that there's a bear market coming soon, and I don't know if you are, but even if you are generally right about that, because you tried to be specifically right, that fell down. And
I was very I was very wrong.
Yeah. And you see examples of that all the time. Quite a famous one is Druckenmiller, Stanley Druckenmiller, the famous investor, picked that the tech bubble was tech companies were way overvalued in, I think it was 1999, and went really short and just got burnt for 2 years because tech companies just kept increasing in value. So there he was generally right, but he tried to be specifically right and time the market, and just really hurt for a couple of years. So, obviously the bet wasn't to make we weren't trying to make a lesson out of the bet, but
no.
As we managed to do Equity Mates,
lesson to learn.
Yeah. So if you're going to be short, give yourself a longer time horizon. If you're going to buy, put options or however you want to go short, give yourself a longer time period than you think is necessary, because what's the saying? The market can stay irrational a lot longer than you can stay liquid, or something like that.
Along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know. You can learn. Yeah, Yeah,
and don't get me wrong. I know there'll be a few listeners out there who probably think all I talk about is doom and gloom. Certainly not the case. But I'm certainly aware of what's going on. We've potentially got some currency crisis on the horizon, trade fears, tightening of credit, rising interest rates, all these sorts of things that over time can build up and have some sort of impact. But I know you also have opinions on that as well, Ren. So yeah, I'm not going to throw down another date or month.
I mean, we could get into this far more deeply, but I think there's a reason that there was a book written about like 100 years of stock market data, and it was called Triumph of the Optimists. And it's just because in any year, going back 100, 200 years, you could look at whatever they were saying around the economy that year, and there would always be something doom and gloom, you know. Inflation, currency crisis, going off the gold standard, you know, whatever it is, banking crisis, there's always something. But, you know, market continues its slow and steady grind upwards.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing, and obviously it hasn't stopped me from investing here and there. But anyway, I'm not going to put another date, although I've got one in my head.
Do you want to double down?
No. Interesting, 2 beers.
Yeah.
No, I won't do that. As much fun as it has been to count down the days to September 15 now, I guess it's all uphill from here.
Yeah. Well, there's another investing lesson. Don't chase your losses.
True.
You don't have to make your money the same way you lost it.
You don't. Okay, so
speaking of losing money.
Yeah, pardon me. Speaking of losing money, Ren, quick update on the ASX Sharemarket game for those that have just joined us on the show. Welcome. Alec and I started playing the ASX stock market game, to be honest, probably about a month or so ago, maybe a bit more. It's a game where the ASX gives you $50,000 of fake money, and you get to trade in and out of the top 200 stocks just like you would on the real ASX. And then after the end of 4 months, it's a big competition, and you can see how you went. So Ren and I laid down some strategies for how we're going to approach those next 4 months, and that was in one of our previous episodes, so definitely go back and have a listen to that. And this is the second time that we've actually done a check-in, Ren. So the last time, from memory, I was actually beating you by upwards of $4,000.
Yeah.
Or so.
Well, you were up. You had made money.
I was up. I was cruising.
Yeah, I was down. I think it was only down $50 at that stage, but I was down.
Yeah. I was obviously riding the highs of Afterpay. So,
story of your life.
Yeah, so I'll kick off because you haven't opened yours yet, Ren. You haven't actually checked your portfolio value since we last spoke about this on air.
Not just my portfolio value. I haven't done anything since we last spoke about it on air.
Okay, so this is going to be very interesting. So you've actually done a buy and hold strategy, and this is very similar to how you are in normal life anyway. You don't necessarily check your stocks daily. So
lazy? Is that the word you're looking for?
You're in this position. However, I can also say that I haven't done too much since we last spoke. I have checked, but haven't been so active. So I'll start. Interestingly, my portfolio peaked in late August, around the 26th, which is when the ASX also peaked at a high of 6,352 points for the month. And then my portfolio has continued in the same direction since then, which is down. And the ASX has also slid. We're now down at 6,185. So that is primarily because I've got a heavyweight in there, CSL, which was a star performer during the reporting season, but has now, it went up to 222, 225 thereabouts, and it's now back down to 205. So all the profits I had on that are gone. I'm still in small amount of profit, but nothing major. So that's taken me down a bit. Unfortunately, I have a big exposure to Afterpay, and it skyrocketed, and then I had a stop loss on it. So it came down, and I sold out at my stop loss in profit. And then I had a buy order in at a certain price, and it bought back in when it started coming back up again. And then it's continued to slide over the last sort of 2 weeks. And I'm actually now, would you believe it, in a loss position on Afterpay. So it's taking me down, and I didn't put a stop loss on that. So I actually checked that about half an hour ago, and I'm almost down $1,000 on that. So I'm not happy with that. So lesson learnt there, should have put my stop loss in. And stop losses have kicked in some profits, and as probably similar to you, Ren, I'm almost half cash at the moment. So I think my total value at the moment, my high was about 56 grand, and I'm now 50,917.
50,917. Okay, That's not bad. That's almost 2% up.
Yeah, look, it's not great considering where I was. I've got about 20,000 in cash, and some lessons have been learnt. I just want to, say that when I went into this, my strategy, as you probably remember, Ren, was to try and take advantage of the reporting season.
Yep.
And to try and catch some stocks before they report based on previous reporting season and try and catch them as they report and then ride them up. Now, I did that to some reasonable success, particularly Afterpay, CSL, a couple of others, Kogan. However, with the pump and dump strategy, it's okay to pump, but you've got to make sure you dump. And what I've forgotten to do or haven't had time to do is actually dump the stocks.
Fair enough.
So they've gone up and then they've come back down. So look, I'm pretty much flat.
Okay, fair enough.
With no strategy from here, so I've got to...
Yeah, well, you got to get one. All right, so...
Bill, you're about to open yours.
Yeah, I am going to the internet now. If we had an editor, this would be where they would insert the drum roll. Okay, oh, damn it. I was hoping for just some unreal number. Okay, so my overall portfolio value is $49,365.88. So it is down $645 on the competition, and so that's down about $595, down $600 since we last touched base.
Yep.
Looking at my holdings, all right. A2 Milk, I am up about 10% on.
Okay.
It seems to be the only stock I can ever do well in. Oh, okay. So same as you, I bought into CSL, and I'm actually down $400 in it.
Dang.
I held Cleanaway. So this is one that I bought at the very beginning.
Yeah,
I'm surprised my stop loss hasn't kicked in. I think it's about to. I'm down over $500 on it. And then my last one, West Farmers, I am up $100. So really, it's A2
Didn't you
Milk
have Wally Parsons as well?
Yeah, I got stopped out of that. I got stopped out of that before our last chat, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so...
Okay.
That's...
And what are you in cash?
10,000.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right, well, are you going to do anything with that 10,000?
Maybe.
Wow.
Look,
inspiring stuff.
Yeah, I might. I mean, it's a bit of fun, but...
Yeah, we've got to deploy it, I think. We've got to do something. We can't just let it sit there.
Okay.
Let's each go away over the weekend, come up with something, and then next time we speak, we will have a firm commitment with each other.
I need an incentive to do it, okay? So let's say from here, we both re-baseline our portfolio values, and whoever gets the biggest percentage change between now and whenever the competition finishes gets to, I don't know, do you want to just put some beers on it?
Yeah, all right, let's put some beers on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, has to edit the podcast for a month or something. Actually, do you want to do that?
No.
Why not?
Beers.
That would be an incentive for me. I would smash you in this then.
Oh. Come on.
All right. We'll put a couple of beers on it. Yeah.
Yeah, put a couple of beers on it. All right, so we're going to re-baseline. All right, so take note of what you're on now. I'll take note of what I'm on now.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Great.
Wow, okay. I can't believe I've just agreed to this. I'm well in front of you.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You've beaten me. The number one ranked person is on $64,000. So they've made 28%.
Interestingly, though,
hold on. I just want to say, if that person is listening to our podcast, they've made a mistake. They're much better than us.
What do you mean?
I mean, we can't teach them anything.
Oh, true. Stop listening.
Yeah.
I'd actually be interested to know if any listeners are playing along with us, and if they are, hit us up with what your value is for your current portfolio, Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and what your star performing stocks are, because obviously we're all here to learn together. So if you've had some success and what your strategy's been, definitely share it with us. Hit us up on our website as well. Ask us anything. It's something we've just started, and got a few listeners asking us questions. So certainly start a topic there, and we can get chatting about this, because I'd be keen to know, Ren.
This person made $9,000 in a day.
5-star.
Yeah, on August the 22nd. Oh, August the 22nd just must have been a great day for the ASX, because the second guy also killed it.
Yeah, and that's when my portfolio peaked just shortly after that, but not by $9,000. And then you can see it's a downhill, although he's managed to maintain it pretty well compared to the ASX. Anyway, Yeah, we'll jump onto the ASX and sign up if you haven't already. You can start at any time. We've still got a couple of months to go. It finishes in mid-November or thereabouts. So it's definitely well worth having a play around. As I said, you get $50,000 in fake money, and it emulates the ASX from Monday to Friday, just as if you were trading or investing like Ren and I do off this game.
Yep. So we're now rebaselining. So you guys can all compete against us. And I promise I will take it more seriously than I have the last couple of weeks. But we had a live show and stuff. Like there was other stuff going on.
True. All right, talking about going on, it's time to move on.
Oh yeah, all right. So we were going to wrap up with some things that we have been researching, because clearly we haven't been spending our time researching the ASX top 200 companies for this game. But I reckon
we're bottom 200 specialists, Ren.
Well, no, I've actually, you see, I'm annoyed that we're not going to talk about it, because I've got something that I think will surprise you that I have been doing some research on. But let's save it for another episode. Maybe the next one we can title it something like Bryce Surprises Ren. Or we can come up with something better.
Wait, aren't you surprising me?
Oh, damn it. Oh, this is just like in your live show when you said you work for Coles.
I know. Can't believe that. All right, well, let's make another commitment then, on top of the fact that we're going to dedicate ourselves to the ASX Sharemarket game over the next 2 weeks, that we will name our next episode Ren Surprises
No. Bryce Surprises Ren, and you have to come up with something to surprise me with.
Okay. Deal. All right, well, let's leave our watch list stock chat until then. And because I feel like we're going to go into a bit of detail about it, and we've got a few other things that we want to discuss. So let's leave it till then.
Yep.
Which will be our next episode after this one. Bryce Surprises Ren. Let's leave it at that.
Oh wow! You might surprise me with another poem. Who knows?
My pressure is on.
All right. Until next time.
All right. See you, bro.
Hello, mates of Equity Mates. Or I guess that just makes you Equity Mates. Anyway, it's Bryce here. One of the most frequently asked questions we get is, where do we find information about all these stocks, and where's a good place to start? Now, we could do a whole episode on this, and we often do touch on it, but the best place to start is by signing up to our Thought Starters weekly email. Each week, we send you some cool stuff that has caught our eye during the week, as well as some more detailed articles on stocks and invested relating content. We also include Basics 101. These are articles tailored specifically for beginners to really propel you on your way. We don't spam you. I mean, we hate spam. It's once a week, and there's enough stuff in there to occupy you for a full day of browsing at work. Now, Ren puts a lot of effort into finding quality articles for you guys, so if anything, just sign up so he feels the love. Head to equitymates.com and chuck in your email at the bottom of the page.
Equity Mates and the people appearing in this program may have positions in the companies mentioned. This is general advice only. Please speak to a financial professional to understand how it may pertain to your individual situation.